Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a viral video that makes some pretty incredible claims about a mysterious US government facility known as Plum Island.
So the story in this video kicks off back in 2007 with a really terrifying encounter. A fisherman claims he saw a goat standing right next to a living, severed head. He said they both stared at him with these human-like eyes. And then the goat apparently spoke, saying, "I am in pain. Look what they have done to me."
And according to the video, that wasn't just a one-off thing. A year later, in 2008, something else happened that really fueled the fire. This bizarre, totally unidentifiable creature washed up on a nearby shore. People on the internet immediately nicknamed it the Montauk monster, but before anyone could really analyze it, the body just vanished.
So, these two events, the talking goat, the monster on the beach, well, according to the source, they got people asking one very obvious question.
And the answer, the video alleges, was right there in front of them. All fingers pointed directly across the water to that top-secret, heavily guarded government facility on Plum Island.
All right, so let's get into it. What exactly does this video claim is going on inside that place?
Okay, so you've got two completely different stories here. Officially, Plum Island is an animal disease center. Its job is to protect America's food supply. But the source video, it paints a much darker picture. It claims the whole thing is a front for developing biological weapons, for weaponizing diseases, and even for conducting these horrifying experiments on animals and humans.
Now you're probably wondering, where does a theory that wild even come from? Well, the source tells us you have to look at the island's origin story.
And a really crucial piece of that history, the video claims, is Operation Paperclip. And this was a real thing, a secret US program after World War II to recruit more than 1,600 German scientists and engineers, basically bringing all their knowledge to America, no matter who they used to work for.
And this is where the timeline really connects the dots for the video's main claim. It alleges that a man named Erich Traub, who they describe as Hitler's top bioweapons expert, specializing in weaponizing insects, of all things, was one of those recruits. Then, according to the source, he was brought to the US and became a central figure at Plum Island's most secret building, Lab 257.
And from here, the video tries to draw a direct line from the lab's alleged secret activities to a huge public health crisis.
I mean, listen to this. The source makes the absolutely shocking claim that one of the main projects inside Lab 257, a project led by Traub, was to breed millions of weaponized ticks and fleas, basically turning tiny insects into delivery systems for deadly diseases. And this is what the video presents as the smoking gun. It points to what it calls a staggering coincidence. In the mid-1970s, you get the first major outbreak of a brand new, mysterious illness. And where does it happen? In a town called Old Lyme, Connecticut, just 10 miles across the water from Plum Island. And that mysterious illness? Well, we now know it as Lyme disease. The source goes through the devastating symptoms, from severe fevers and rashes all the way to body paralysis and even organ failure, alleging that this all traces back to an experiment that either went horribly wrong or maybe one that worked a little too well. And the video really wants to hammer home the scale of this. It claims another scientist, a man named Willy Bergdorfer, actually admitted before he died that he took part in a program that released hundreds of thousands of genetically modified radioactive ticks. The result of that? The source claims these ticks have now spread to cover 60% of the entire United States. But as if weaponized animals and insects weren't enough, the allegations in the video escalate to the most disturbing claim of them all. Now you might be thinking, there's no way, the government would never experiment on people. But the source argues it's not that far-fetched. It points to real documented history, asking the viewer to remember the Tuskegee experiment. For 40 years, the US government unethically studied syphilis in African-American men without their consent, which, the video argues, proves a willingness to experiment on its own citizens. And then the video presents this incident from 2010 as possible proof. A body washes ashore on Plum Island. But this wasn't just any body. It was 6 feet tall, described as human-like, and had unusually long fingers. An autopsy supposedly showed signs of neurosurgery on the skull, and there were anti-seizure drugs in its system. The source claims the police just closed the case, no real investigation. And to this day, it's a John Doe. So this leads to some really chilling questions. Who were these strange bodies that kept turning up? Were they just unlucky people who got too close and saw something they shouldn't have?
Were they scientists who were about to talk? Or, and this is the most horrifying possibility, were they actually escaped test subjects?
But hold on, because this story isn't just about the past. In fact, the source claims we're now entering a new, and maybe even more dangerous chapter.
And at first, the video presents this as good news. The old, rundown, and supposedly leaky facility on Plum Island is finally getting shut down.
But here's the twist. The bad news, according to the source, is that all of this dangerous research is just being moved to a new, bigger facility. And it's the location that's got people worried. It's not on an isolated island anymore. It's in Kansas, right in the heart of the US mainland, a huge agricultural area, and it's smack dab in the middle of Tornado Alley.
And that brings us to the final, haunting question the video leaves you with. What happens when a powerful tornado, something that's totally predictable in that part of the country, smashes into a lab filled with the world's most dangerous animal diseases, right in the heart of America's food supply?